Hello there, everyone. So, at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, my girlfriend Jo and I decided that we finally wanted to cross off one of the major bucket list items that we both had, which was to ride motorbikes around Europe for about 6 months. And that's exactly what we did. I quit my job, we flew over, bought 2 bikes, and off we went. We ended up doing 21 countries and covering over 22,000 kilometers. So it was a very, very good trip. As we went around, we decided to record it. Why not? Figured it'd be nice to watch, 10, 15 years down the line and reminisce a bit. But now that we've been back for a little while and I've had a chance to go through the footage, I decided why not cut it together and upload it to YouTube for people to enjoy. So that's what I've done. Now, take it as it is. I'm not a professional cinematographer, nor am I a professional video editor, so a lot of the footage is pretty rough and ready. We didn't film it with the intention of it being a sort of a vlog-style thing. Yeah, come along for the ride. We learnt a lot. Hopefully you can learn something too if you're planning a trip like this. It's always useful to see the mistakes that people have made. I'm probably going to put up another video or two on just equipment that we took, how we set the bikes up, lessons that we learnt, mistakes that we made, that sort of thing. I guess watch out for those on my channel. But otherwise, come along for the ride and hopefully you enjoy it even half as much as we did.
We began our journey on the border of Germany and Switzerland in my hometown of Konstanz after some last-minute shopping for straps to attach my backpack to the back of Joe's bike. Despite buying a Swiss highway vignette at a petrol station just over the border, we wanted to avoid highways as much as possible and stuck to the small rural roads. Some of these turned out to be lovely, lazily meandering through the Swiss countryside. Not fast roads, but with the Swiss no-tolerance attitude to speeding. The maximum speed on Swiss roads outside of the major highways is 80 km an hour, and fines that are sky high to begin with and then adjusted according to your income, and neither of us were really keen to take any chances. One thing all the European cities have in common is that their city centres are generally not designed by their medieval city planners with vehicular traffic in mind. Eventually things began to get a bit hillier, and we finally gained some altitude, although again with an 80 km an hour speed limit that I wouldn't recommend testing. This is also where we came across our first wildlife. The greater lycrid cyclopath, a fascinating species that emerges every summer from its hibernation in the foothills, clad in festive colours to begin the long and arduous journey towards its mating grounds, nestled in the alpine peaks of Europe.
Yeah, check out the ski trail, on the left there, there's like a ski lift thing. That's not a lot of snow. Also, what is with all the psychopaths riding their bicycles up there?
As we continued gaining altitude, an issue began to emerge that would plague me for the rest of the trip: camera fogging. You can see it begin to form around the edges of the frame here. This is quite a pity as it sort of ruined a fair amount of the footage, especially in the mountains, and it sort of makes everything just look really washed out. Finally, as we crested another hill, we broke out of the pine tree forests and got our first proper view of what had surrounded us, the Alps.
The lake over to the right. It's fucking unbelievable.
We began our descent into the valley and encountered yet more wildlife, this time the common greased tar snake. Much like the cyclopath, it emerges in the summer months to breed on alpine roads, preferring to nest in any location so long as it's as inconvenient as possible. From here, the views just kept getting better and better. Eventually, we reached the Vierwaldstätter See, which was a shade of bright blue that I honestly didn't know they made. Video does not do it justice. We stopped briefly to admire the view, and then followed the road around the lake, marvelling at the gorgeous vistas, and unlike Windows Vista, you just couldn't get enough of them. At this point, we pass a sign that I didn't take too much notice of at the time, and this will become very relevant just a little later. We continued on, reluctantly leaving the sapphire blue waters of the lake behind, and finally venturing into the foothills of the Alps, which soon enough began to surround us like towering giants. Meandering up the switchbacks at a snail's pace at least had the side benefit of giving us time to take in the views. Finally, we left the main road behind and headed up towards Forker Pass, and some of the most spectacular views of the trip. The camera really can't portray the immense sense of wonder imposed by the sheer scale of the scenery. It was absolutely breathtaking.
time. There's a nut on the back of my fucking...
A what?
There's like a nut on the back of my, No, like a little sunflower seed thing.
Holy fucking shit.
Amazing.
That's fucking insane. I keep wanting to sort of ride faster, but then I'm kind of also looking off at the view, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm just going to go off the side of the mountain if I... Anyway.
It was then that we discovered that the pass was in fact still closed. Some clearer signage at the bottom rather than one brief sign by the highway an hour away might have been a good idea. But then again, neither of us were really complaining. This was easily one of the best detours of the trip, despite adding about an hour and a half to an already long day. The road was still flanked by snow and quite icy in patches, so caution was advisable.
not that fast.
One eternity later.
That's a cool spot down there.
Unfortunately, this is where my last camera battery ran out of juice. From here we continued avoiding the highways and followed a nice twisty road to the hotel that Joe had booked for us, although the increasing fatigue from a long day, the rapidly darkening sky and a looming thunderstorm made us very glad when we finally made it to the comfort of a warm bed. Luckily the bad weather cleared by the next morning and the shining Italian sun greeted us as we continued our journey towards the French border.